Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. My name is Will Ansley, and I am the Vice President of Corporate Development and Investor Relations at Golden TAG. And I'll be giving you a presentation today on our San Diego silver project located in Velardeña, Mexico. We pride ourselves on saying that when you own a share of Golden TAG, you own approximately 1.1 silver equivalent ounces per common share that you own. And that's just something that we like to pride ourselves on. We have one of the largest undeveloped silver deposits in North America, but in particular in Mexico, with over 115 million ounces of silver and over 1.5 billion pounds of zinc in compliant resources. We are one of the most undervalued assets and companies on the market, and our project is open in several areas and amenable for expansion through drilling. So I hope to convey these concepts to you. This slide illustrates the size of our deposit in compliant resources, total silver content only. And our deposit is comprised of approximately half silver, and then zinc and lead, and a little bit of copper and gold as well. On a relative value basis, you can see from this slide that Golden TAG is one of the most undervalued silver assets out there. The average of the silver explorer and developers is approximately $1 an ounce, a US dollar per ounce, and Golden TAG sits at a mere 11 cents. And that demonstrates there's a lot of upside to the company and the project through doing some additional marketing and de-risking on the project, which we'll talk about shortly. But we're very confident that we can begin to bridge that gap and take investors more up the curve towards the average, which is a significant return. The management and board is well endowed with some individuals that have significant experience in not only building and finding mines, but taking them into production. Greg McKenzie, our president and CEO, has over 20 years of experience, capital markets experience, very well regarded. And he's got, as you can see, terrific experience with major institutions. And for several years, he led locally in Toronto, Haywood Securities investment banking team covering the mining space. And myself, Will Ansley, I've been a part of a team that's put 6 mines into underground mines into commercial production from scratch in Ontario, and one in South America as well. And Chad Williams, our chairman, is very well regarded as well. He is the chairman and founder of Red Cloud Securities, and formerly the CEO of Victoria Gold Corp. Tom English, again, a very well-regarded expert, financial background. He's got a lot of tremendous experience covering companies in the space. And Dwayne Melrose, over 30 years of experience, former president and CEO of True Gold Mining. He was exploration manager at Kumitor, where they discovered a significant zone, multi-million ounce deposit that's now in production, of course. And Talal brings a tremendous amount of history with the company. He's been a director for many years. Golden TAG has approximately 194 million shares outstanding, and our largest shareholder is Eric Sprott. We have a few other institutions that are below 10%. Combined, they're just under 20%. and insiders own about 5% of the company. We've had a volatile year on the market with our shares, and I can say that since June 2021, we've experienced some headwinds with respect to the silver market being a little bit weak, and we had about 20 million warrants in 2 tranches that expired at the end of June and in September. Those have all been cleaned up, and the capital structure is as you see here. We now have cash on hand of over approximately 6.7 million, and we're well capitalized to advance the company and drill off the project. The project is located in Durango, Mexico, the state of Durango, which is a fairly safe state, and we are in what's known as the Velardeña Mining District, which is dominated by pinoles. They have most of the ground in the camp, and the camp has been operating for approximately 100 years of continuous precious metal and base metal mining. So there's skilled labor there, there's parts, geologists, power, services available. The other company that operates near us is Golden Minerals, Denver-based company, and we're about, well, let me just show you on the next slide. And we're located approximately 2 kilometers from Peñoles' growth project called El Cobre, and we like to say that we're located in elephant country, right next to a major project. And you know, where do you want to find a mine? Right next to the head frame of another mine. So in 2012, that was the last drill program on the San Diego project, and the top part of the slide shows you what the projects look like at that point in time. And today you can see some years later, Peñoles has over 100 drill pads, and they've expanded that, made wonderful discoveries, and the project has moved into their engineering group, which means it's going toward study for going into production. Okay, over to our project. There's some slides on our resources there. You can see that we do have a significant amount of underground tons and silver equivalent ounces. 83 million silver equivalent ounces in combined inferred, and another 31 million silver equivalent ounces in indicated. Most of the tonnage of our deposit lies in what's known as the Fernandez Zone, and I'll speak to this. Approximately 74% of the tons reside in the Fernandez Zone. Okay, which sits in this area here. There are additional areas for expansion above and beyond the Fernandez Zone, and I'll get into details specifically about these other areas. But the latest area is this area just to the northwest, and we've made a pretty good discovery there. Let me jump into that on this slide. Last year, when Greg and myself and Carmelo came into the company, we took over the management and recapitalized the company. There was no drilling performed on this asset since 2012, and last year we initiated the first drill campaign, and that was executed and completed this year. You can see on the left part of the slide the geology and the shapes, which are according to our existing compliant resource, are shown on the left-hand side. And you can see that this is the Fernandez Zone, 66 million ounces approximately of silver alone reside in this area, approximately 120 million ounces of silver equivalent. So fairly significant. And last year, this was a concept over here about 120 meters away in what we had called the 1849 target area, where there was one drill hole at the top of 184 grams of 42 meters. and down below at 89 grams per ton over 101 meters. Well, we've drilled in between, and sure enough, it is mineralized as we thought, 91 grams, almost 92 over 134 meters. And very important to note that the drill hole on the way to the target intercepted approximately 76 grams per ton silver equivalent over 273 meters right from surface as soon as it left the drill casing. And this is important because it resides right over top, about 450 meters above the Fernandez Zone, which is 66 million ounces of silver, 120 million ounces of silver equivalent. So that's very important because that intercept is the first sort of concept that there could be an open pit style of mineralization present, which would be a real bonus for how we would attack the Fernandez Zone in a potential development scenario. At any rate, what we have is now called the 1849 zone here, sitting about 120 meters to the west, northwest, away from the Fernandez Zone. And so far, the vertical extent of that zone is 500 meters, and looks like the grade is about 100 grams per ton and silver equivalent. And that's really interesting because it would lend itself obviously to shared potential development with the Fernandez Zone if or when we go into to look at this. The Fernandez Zone has several holes in it, and as you can see on this slide, the average length when you include the endoskarn and fringe component is typically in excess of 200 meters and often 300 meters in length, which means it's a significant size zone. The mineralization has currently in our resource been traced over 700 meters, and in total, when you go to construct a mine, you always look at how many ounces per vertical meter are present, and will that carry the development costs. So we put together a table with the help of BMO Capital Markets, and you can see the Fernandez Zone currently has 179,000 ounces of silver equivalent every vertical meter, which places it in line with several already operating world-class mines or projects that you can see shown in the table on the right. We've converted that to gold for reference just to make it easier, but 2,646 ounces of what would be gold equivalent is absolutely world-class. So expanding that is a wonderful thing to do, and that's what we've accomplished over the last program. Not to go into too much detail here, but hole 58 came down and went into the zone on the western side. Okay, and you can see that in this intercept, we've got 111 grams of silver equivalent over almost 200 meters, and the closest intercept on that area is shown here, and in hole 48, and you can see our drilling from 2021 is a 34% improvement in the grade in this area, which is substantial. 140 meters above the intercept below of 164 grams. So shown slightly rotating that view, you can see on the right-hand side of the page, we're about 102 meters away from hole 48. The grade is improving to the west. It's open to the west. There is no drilling over here, and significantly higher, 140 meters over this intercept down here. So we're keen to get in there and do some more drilling and see if it really does continue to the west and have a pickup in grades in this area. Excuse me. To the south of the Fernandez sits the Trovador Zone, and we've drilled down in through the top of Fernandez through hole 56A, and what we see is that the Trovador Zone and the area in between Fernandez is mineralized. And what we have is an expansion 43 meters to the to the southwest of Fernandez, with similar grades and widths over extensive widths, 86 meters and 169 meters, almost 170 meters below, at similar grades and widths to what's in the resource already. So we're quite hopeful that this area and of the resource will expand. And down below at the bottom of the hole, we encountered a different style of mineralization of 106 grams over 116 meters, which is consistent with what was intercepted up here in the Trovador zone, 335 meters higher. And so what we're able to see is that we have a big improvement in the grade coming to depth here on this Trovador structural zone, which is the area in between Fernandez and the Trovador zone. So up here at this elevation, we're seeing 89 grams, and down below, an improvement down to 106 grams. But what's important to note is there's no drilling really in between 335 meters of this potential bulk zone. So that's something we're key to get back into and look at. So in summary, we're incredibly excited about the project. The grades are improving. We're doing metallurgical work on the project this year, and we're well funded to continue to advance the project. Stay tuned. We'll have some more announcements soon about our plans to get back this fall to get drilling on the project. And with that, I'll open it up to any questions. I'd be happy to answer.
Great. Well, so let's get going. The first question coming from Kiki here on the Chinese side. He's asking if there's any discussions on expanding your assets for acquisitions of any nearby properties.
We are absolutely, given the background of the people involved, we are quite active on evaluating other opportunities and ways to grow our silver endowment. We are quite active in that space.
Sure. The next one coming from Shane. Do you see inflation as a benefit to silver and your stock price potentially?
Absolutely, we do. And you've seen it already. There's been a small pullback, but I think it's a spring that's waiting to coil and take off. Silver's unique. It shares some of gold's properties, but it also shares some of the base metal properties. And, I think we believe in silver wholeheartedly. That's why we put our own money in, actually, to recapitalize the company and get it started early last year. So absolutely.
One last question here. So we'll talk about Sprott. Eric Sprott, does he increase his position, or how much is he holding now in GOG?
Right. Eric recently, this month, increased his position. He exercised 6.5 million warrants and took his ownership percentage up to 19.3%. And so we're quite pleased with that, and obviously very happy to have Eric on the register and as a supportive shareholder.
Great. Thank you, Will, for your time here today for a great update in your story.
Oh, thank you, Gilbert. Nice speaking with you. Thank you, everyone.